Welcome back to another episode of Unpacking with Jennifer Satel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow to get notifications when a new episode drops. Welcome back, guys. I'm super excited, as always, to be here today, the day after Easter. And I just wanted to talk about a couple things as I do. And Easter, it's so great. We have this tradition for the most part. I've mentioned before, and she was a guest on Marlon. Her daughter is named Jolla, and that's Charlotte's very first friend. Charlotte was 6 months when she was born, and they're still friends, and they're besties, and it's great. But every Saturday, they always do, her mom, they always put on this, really fun Easter egg hunt thing, whatever. But, as they're getting a little bit older, she kind of mixes it up a bit. And so last year she did, we did the Easter egg thing, which, it's money and then a couple eggs and some candy, but not crazy. But they really just want like money and other things. But she did like a treasure hunt after. And after they had like a map, and it was like, there was like these extra little things just to kind of prolong a lot of work goes into those eggs, like filling those eggs and stuff. It's not easy, especially if you have a lot of people. Anyways, and it was really fun. But the thing is the girls did it. There's 3 girls. They did it so fast. So this year, Marlene's like, I've scrapped that. This is what I'm doing. We're going to have teams. She had a binder for each kid. There was 17 tasks. And then after you do a task, then you get the clue to go look for the prize. And, some of it was like, a chocolate Easter bunny, or like one of them was a set of day of the week nails, fake nails, because, the girls are all into fake nails right now. One was a stuffed animal, like a Squishmallow. I mean, some of these prizes were pretty crazy. And it was really fun. And Marlon just does a fantastic job. So kind of in line with that, I wanted to say, I felt like she went above and beyond. She was so proud of it. And honestly, she's one of those, she thinks of something, and then I would have done it probably surface, maybe 25% as good as she did. And she goes 100, and 10%. The binders, the different colors, she even bought every little stations of all the stuff they had to do. One of them is make, something out of clay. One of them is color an Easter egg. One of them is smash an egg, just all these things. And then they got these prizes. Fine, great, wonderful, amazing. But with that being said, I saw on Instagram, and I feel that I think this stuff a lot of times. I think of funny things. I just don't put it on. I don't do videos really on Instagram and stuff. And these people come up with stuff that I think. I'm sure everyone has that. You think of these things and you see a video and someone's saying it, right? Or what you thought. You're like, I totally think this all the time. One of the things I just saw, and it's this mom, and I feel that I want to be best friends with her because every single thing she was saying, so now I've followed her for 3 different videos. Every single thing she's saying to me is the best thing in the world, but it's exactly what I think. So here's an example. Going back to, during spring break, Easter, you had all this whatever. But during the week, I don't remember doing shit. I remember it was too cold to swim. Maybe we went to the beach. I don't even remember doing that. I really don't remember doing a lot of stuff during spring break. And now it is this I saw the mom she was talking about. She's like, the bar was low when I was in spring break. You were at home, you maybe made a bologna or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now kids are wanting to do DoorDash at the house to get, whatever. And, you're having these, extravagant things. Are we going on a trip? And sometimes you maybe can't afford, you can't get time off work. It's hard. Are we going to go on a trip? What are we going to do on the trip? Can I bring a friend on the trip? And I was just thinking about different things, just how I've mentioned it before, birthday parties. Birthday parties are so extravagant now, especially for younger kids, I feel, or even now. I mean, Charlotte's was, I felt, pretty extravagant for our budget. And spring break, we just sat at home. I don't remember doing anything. I really don't remember going anywhere. Maybe I went. I really don't remember going to Disneyland or really anything. If we could swim and if it was warm enough, maybe we would swim. It was probably freezing, but we still swam because I feel that's what kids do. Even when it's freezing, you go in there and then you complain that it's so cold, but you're going to go swimming. I just laughed. This mom's just like, what's happening? Like everything is like a competition. And I think it's like with ourselves or you hear someone else is doing this, like, oh, I'm going on a cruise. You should join us. And, and we got invited to go on a cruise, which is great. But I'm like, I don't have the time off. Like it's hard. And I don't remember doing anything really exciting or in summer. I mean, we did like a few things. You'd go to the beach like on the weekends, but during the week you didn't do jack shit because your parents worked. They didn't take the week off with you. I mean, maybe yours did. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying like some of it, the bar is like so high. And sometimes I feel we're constantly trying to like compete with it. And Charlotte, she went to my mom's for a couple days, but she had, play dates and she lived her best life. She had a birthday party a couple days right before spring break was official, the weekend before, and was busy, and then went up to Lake Arrowhead for the day to go like zip lining. Like I never did that shit. That was like maybe once a year going somewhere. I don't even mean like on a Sunday. Like a random Sunday going up to Lake Arrowhead and going zip lining and rock climbing and all the fun stuff that they got to do and had the best day. Greatest day, right? And then comes home at like 8:00 at night. I don't remember ever doing that. So it's just so funny because, and then when kids say like, I'm bored, I want to scream from the mountaintops. I mean, not that I'm going to stand on top of a mountain, but I would scream from the mountaintops and say, you don't understand what it's like. And then I start remembering about my parent, like my mom or my uncle saying like, oh, you don't even know what it's like. Like we didn't do jack shit. We had to walk here. You didn't get a car ride. You didn't, this. And it was all funny. You were just like, whatever. And now I'm kind of catching myself like, I don't even remember doing anything. I mean, not that I had like a miserable childhood. I actually had a very good childhood. Once I moved in with Uncle Chuck is the stuff I really remember when I was about almost 9 years old. But, I don't know. This woman just kind of, she was making me crack up. The second part to her, which I don't know who she is. And like I said, she just made me crack up, but it made me think about every week or every couple weeks at Charlotte's school, I swear to God, there's some kind of dress up. Spirit week, whatever. In the beginning of the week, they do, a couple fun things. There's always like a pajama day. We know we're safe there. There's usually like maybe a sports day. We have, maybe a Dodger shirt, or last year we got a Rams t-shirt. She got a Rams t-shirt. So we were able to throw that on for sports day. I mean, she doesn't even know really what the Rams are, but okay, fine. I remember when I was in school, we had crazy hair day, crazy sock day, maybe like twin day, maybe. And then like school spirit day was like always on Friday. Like last year, I think it was, or maybe it was a couple years ago, for the 100th, you had to dress like a 100-year-old person. So I had to buy a costume like 2 days before on Amazon. What did we do without Amazon, you guys? I say this to every single person I meet. Like, what did we do? We actually had to get in the car and go look for this shit. And now, can you imagine, since all the retailers are dying, we actually went to like, you would go to like, let's say Target or Walmart or wherever you went, and you'd have to go to multiple ones to try to find this thing that you're looking for that maybe doesn't even exist. But now they're just like, oh, she has to dress like a 100-year-old woman. It's the 100th day of school. One year it was 101 Dalmatian day. So I had to buy her a 101 Dalmatian costume. Guess what? She wore it like the day, and that was it forever. So I'm kind of over that. I feel like it should be stuff that you can put together because sometimes it's just too much. This week at her school, she goes back to school tomorrow, and this week is Gold Rush week. And one of the things that they had was a picture of what some people wore last year, and it was people dressed like Little House on the Prairie, which we love. We love Little House on the Prairie, but I don't have those clothes readily available for Charlotte. So they're like, you can order something on Amazon if you want. I mean, you could dress. And then finally someone said, so we have to buy a costume? Because again, these costumes are like $40, $50. You wear them one day, that's it, forever. They're not doing this every year. And they're like, well, you also can wear just like maybe like a cowboy hat and like cowboy boots and like, jeans. So I'm like, we can do that. We definitely can do that. But it was funny because the mom's like, we got to stop with this, like, constantly, because it's like every time it's a costume for this, a costume for that. And it's like not stuff you normally have. It's not like, oh, I don't know, something you can throw together like a witch. I mean, she goes to a Christian school. She's never going to dress like a witch. They don't even dress up for Halloween. They dress for harvest. And it's a cowboy boots, jeans, and a cowboy shirt with hat. That's all they can do, which is which is totally fine. But we don't even have you can't be a ghost and just get a white sheet and cut out eyes. You can't do that. You have to go buy it. All the stuff. I have so many fucking costumes that I literally just give them away. Or if other people, their kids are a year younger, I'm like, hey, if you do this and you want this costume, just take it. I've already paid for it. But this mom was she's talking in her car, which I think is hilarious. And she's just on this, and it's so funny because I think this stuff all the time. Sometimes I mention it, but other times I'm like, I should be the one doing these videos because I freaking am cracking up at her. She's hilarious talking about this. And I just think of the birthday parties and everything is just summers. A couple of my clients are like, oh, we're going to, you know how many kids go away to Europe for a month? Oh, we went to Japan. Oh, we went to Spain and da-da-da and da-da-da and da-da-da. And they're gone for a month. I mean, I maybe got an overnight, maybe in Carpinteria. We camped a couple times up there, which was super fun, very inexpensive. And again, it's all, relevant and, budgets are different. But I'm like, I would have loved to go away for a month. Do you imagine? Imagine how many souvenirs you could have. It'd be great. I didn't do any of that. I don't regret it. I just laugh at the way the bar is so freaking high. Kids have no clue what it's like to... They have no clue. They have no clue what it's like to literally make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at home and be the happiest you've ever been, which is great. It's my favorite food. Peanut butter is my favorite in the whole world, but they're getting DoorDash delivered and they're 12. And I'm like, what the fuck? The DoorDash is more than the actual food. I don't get it. Anyways, that's not a tangent, but just something that just made me laugh, starting with the Easter thing and everything. It just kind of aligns, and some of the stuff is just extravagant, but I appreciate it. It's just where it is, and it's fun, really fun. I mean, Charlotte got 6 Easter baskets yesterday. That's absolutely crazy. And I can't tell you, she'll maybe eat one piece of candy out of it, and that's it. At the end, she just was looking for the fake nails and the money that was in the gold eggs. So. Yeah. Anyways, that's how it is. I'm sure you guys can relate. Your kids, especially if you have multiple kids. I don't know. I have a client who has 4 kids under the age of 7. It's a lot of littles, all boys. It's a lot. That would be hard. And how it costs and all of that to do all this stuff. So it's wow. And with everything being so expensive now, and I know I sound like a literal adult saying that, it is very expensive. Even just little stuff is so expensive. And, it's just crazy. But Charlotte's had a good spring break. Perfect. She got to see grandma. We went and celebrated my mom's birthday. We went up to La Jolla, she's in San Diego. We went further down to La Jolla. And it was funny because I lived in San Diego for 13 years. And I love San Diego actually. But La Jolla, I'd always go to La Jolla for some reason, and because it was beautiful. But I really can't afford any of the shops. But I like to look, whatever. So I was like, oh, let's take my mom there. She hasn't been there maybe one time. It's probably been 25 years. And they have the sea lions, and there was all this drama in La Jolla at the Cove with the sea lions, and people would try to touch them and get in their space. They lay on these big rocks, and they sun their buns and they sun everything, and it's great. I have such an anger towards the people that still, they had this, I guess they voted on it because my mom tells me about it. They finally voted on it, and we're we're not going to touch the sea lions. We shouldn't have to tell people not to touch the sea lions. We should not tell people to not, when you go to Hawaii, not play with the turtles. We shouldn't do that. There's a point where we just say, but the sea lions, so you go down this one section of La Jolla and there's these steep stairs. It smells so terrible. I don't know if it's worse or I just forgot about how terrible it smells. Did you know you're getting close to that cove area? And there's all these sea lions, and then there's all these fucking birds. And I hate birds. Now, I don't hate them. I don't want them dead. But when people have birds, it's kind of weird. I'm not saying they're weird. It's just weird having a bird in the house, and sometimes they're squawking and it's all messy, and they have newspaper and the seeds are all over the ground and everything, and it's just blech. Now imagine hundreds of birds on this rock, and then all these sea lions, and then people are walking in the water and going up to them, having their kids go up and trying to touch them. And then I guarantee you, if a sea lion does something to those kids, accidentally hits them or bites them or whatever they do. They're not hitting them, but you know what I mean. they're going to fucking put that sea lion to sleep, or they're going to take and it just infuriates me. So we started to walk down there. It smelled so bad. I felt like the smell, I was just chewing it. It was so disgusting. And it was beautiful though. The water's like beautiful. And all these people are like trying to bug the sea lions. And I was just so pissed. I'm like, we need to go. And of course, Charlotte's like, it smells terrible. And it did. It smelled so terrible. But all these people are down there just trying to get in the water and play with the sea lions. And I'm like, what? Just go get a beach ball or something and go somewhere else. This is why the world people just have no respect for the earth. They don't have respect for the animals on the earth. They just don't. And that's my tangent. It really fucking pisses me off. It pisses me off when people don't respect the fact that we're in their area. We take over their area. Like coyotes. Yeah, I don't want my coyotes to eat my dogs, but we have to remember they keep building houses here in their land. And I'm sorry. And same thing at the water. Like these sea lions are just doing what sea lions do, and people are all like put out by it. Like then fucking don't be around them, or goes to a different beach where there's not sea lions everywhere, because that's where they go. It's a cove. The water's warmer. That's where they go. And all these people with their kids poking at them and stuff. I was so pissed. I was so pissed off. And then we left the stink area and then we were fine. But I thought about it for like 2 days. I'm like, people suck. And they do. And they do suck, you guys. I love, there are some really kind people, but man, some people just have no care in the world about anybody but them and what they want to do. And it bothers me. And I read these stories and it just really bothers me. And anyways, but La Jolla is beautiful. We had a really nice lunch. My mom had a great day. And then, of course, Charlotte says, Mommy, can we go to Dave & Buster's? And I said, well, it's Grandma's birthday. Do you think Grandma wants to go to Dave & Buster's? And she's like, I do. I do think she does. So after we spent the day in La Jolla, we got to go to the Carlsbad Mall and go to Dave & Buster's and play games with Charlotte, which is so fun. But here's the funny part. The cards that you spend $9 trillion to get like 14 points, and you need 85 jillion points to get something that's worth $4 at the fucking store. Charlotte holds on to all those points, but she keeps wanting to play, but she wants to wait until she gets 5,000 points to get some tiny little thing. And I'm like, Charlotte, we could just go to the store and buy that same thing for like under $20. And Grandma's spending like $1 million. I've spent like $1 million. Like, she's like, but I want the points. And I'm like, this is all a scam. Everything's a scam. But guess what? She had fun. We had fun. We had a great day. It was a nice day with my mom for her birthday. My mom does taxes, I might have mentioned before. So this time of year is hard to celebrate her birthday because she's usually knee deep in the weeds of the world. So I always try to do something after, like, after the tax session settles down a little bit, like in May. So anyways, on that note, just kind of laughing at all these things. And when you like just things we think of, things that are happening in the world, and I'm sure we can all relate. And sometimes I got suckered into doing some of these things, like these parties and stuff where I spent way more than, my mom ever did as for Charlotte. And I'm sure people spend 27 times more than I did. And I thought mine was a lot. So it's to each his own. You do what you do. But it's just funny, the evolution of some of this stuff. It just makes me kind of chuckle, I guess. Maybe I am getting older because things make me chuckle now. So I want to kind of tell you a little bit about my work week in terms of, clients and things that we, that I mention. And a lot of it is about organizing. But again, I focus a lot, or I feel like I focus more because I really see a lot of stuff popping up in the last few years of my business. Yes, it is wonderful to do all of the fun things. It's so wonderful to go in a house that just needs like a little bit of love, and it's Pinterest perfect when I'm done. But that's not the reality, and I've said that before. It's not the reality, but I do see just so much like, something happens to somebody, and we're all programmed differently, but if something happens to somebody, I'll give you an example. This woman's husband died. They were divorced. I don't know how long they were married, but she's, I think, 50. So they were married. They have like a 15-year-old daughter, and they got divorced. It was kind of a little tumultuous relationship. And when all was said and done, he ended up passing away. He kind of went into this depression and gained like a ton of weight. Like she was telling me, he gained like 200 pounds. And I think things just started shutting down. So she was kind of telling me about that. And she was kind of explaining to me, which I didn't ask. I don't always ask. Sometimes I can tell when somebody wants to talk, and sometimes I'm like, tell me what happened. Like, did something happen? I ask that question a lot because some people come in and, like I said, they'll cry, and it's just a form of release. Get it out. You've been holding it in. Please cry away. And I'll ask a question. If I feel like I can put my toe in the pool a little bit, I might say, well, did something happen recently? Like, a parent gets sick, or maybe a parent passed away or something, where you feel like it's got to this point where you have no control over it, you have no time, and also maybe not the bandwidth or the energy to kind of deal with it. So that's how that story came up, and she mentioned it, and I could see that that's probably where I think her place got a little bit out of control, a lot of bit out of control. The other factor is that her daughter, that was her dad, and the daughter's going through some things too. So it was just a kind of a collaboration of, two people grieving in a different capacity, and then how you handle that. And some people just, they want to lay down, pull the covers over their head, and just kind of turn off the world. And there are moments, I'm sure I want to do that. I'm not one of those. I can't sit still. Even when I am sad, and there are many times that I'm sad, is like I just clean or organize, I guess. I don't want to say always organize, but I do. Like, it kind of just helps me just like focus on something that's not maybe the saddest thing. And so when I go in and I listen to these stories, like I said, I don't force it. Nobody has a gun to their head to tell me why. Maybe they just don't have the time and their house is unorganized. But this is like, going in the trenches. This is like, she's lived in this apartment for a very, very long time. And she's finally like, I'm ready to get, like, she wants to paint it. I don't know if she owns it or just has been there so long it's like hers, but she's like, she wants to paint it. She's getting new furniture. Like, she's ready to do all the stuff. But in the meantime, we have to be able to find the floor. So, and that's something that I listen to and I appreciate, and I just say like, okay, we're going to do this in bite-sized pieces, because you cannot go into a house that is, or a room that is, what I would consider maybe a level 10 of just, not in the best way, whatever word you want to use for that. And then it's like, and then they're like, but then the kitchen, and then the drawers, and then this. And I'm like, let's just focus on one thing. What's the area that makes you want to poke your eyes out the hardest? What's the area? Like, people sometimes can't even sit on their couches. So I'm like, okay, to me, the kitchen is the heartbeat of the house. I've said that a million times. I will continue to say that. You always eat, you always drink. Everyone kind of gravitates to the kitchen. Everybody needs food. Everybody's getting, drinks and this and that. And also sometimes the dining table's in there, that area. Or some people have an island and you kind of just stand and gravitate around the island and stuff. So for her, it was her bedroom. And it's apartment, so it's not huge. It's okay size, but she also likes to shop. And that's another thing that was easing her, maybe her sadness or her vulnerability of what was going on. So she buys. And then she just lost a ton of weight, like a lot of people are doing right now. She lost like 85 pounds. So what do you want to do? You want to celebrate and buy clothes. And every time you leave the house, you buy clothes, and there's bags and bags and bags and bags and bags of clothes and everything. She feels good. She feels good about herself. She's starting to get out of that funk. And, we've all been in a funk, and we've all had, my house does not look perfect all the time. That's probably the number one question I get. Oh, I bet your house is so organized. It's organized all the time. Everything has a place. But there are some areas where I don't double check Charlotte's playroom all the time. Sometimes I come home, I don't even go to that area. It has a pocket door, and then it has a door on the other side. We close it because if her friends are there, we close it off, whatever, Sometimes I don't even think about it. I think about the kitchen. I think about, the dining room table, that kind of stuff. But I'm not 100% organized all the time. And it's, I have organization. Things look good. Do they look perfect? They do not. So it's okay to not be perfect, and it's okay to not have your stuff Pinterest ready all the time, but that's not the reality. The reality when I help you is trying to get spaces for everything, and let's do it in bite-sized pieces. You'll feel really good after the first, visit or the second visit. You'll really notice a difference, just depending on how deep it is in terms of, am I just rearranging stuff, or we're diving into every single thing. In this case, it's every single thing, and she's absolutely ready to get rid of stuff. What's frustrating or what's hard is when you have that mindset and then you don't want to get rid of anything. And it's not because I'm saying don't, just throw it away. You don't. But if you're not using it and it's 21 years old, she's lived in that apartment for 21 years, and some of that stuff she had bought when she moved in the apartment. Like maybe it's time for new, or maybe that you need to freshen up a place or a room because maybe, it just doesn't have the same energy as it did before. And I'm a big believer of that. Like, let's, even just moving stuff around. We don't have a ton of money to always buy new furniture and new clothes and new decorations in this, but even just like new towels for your bathroom and rugs, that's a pretty inexpensive fix to just bring some life to a room. So, I say this all the time. The mental aspect of it is sometimes paralyzing. And in her case, it was. And is. I've been helping her for a few months, and she has a budget, so I can't do it right away. It's, usually like every month I help her for a full day. And I just helped her, and, I know we can really see some progress now. And I know she feels pretty good about it. And I feel good helping her. And I can't wait to see once that last round. I think I have one more time where it's another, onset of just kind of purging and just figuring out what she wants and removing some of the stuff. Like she's like, I want to get a new couch. Like she's ready. And that is really a huge step for people when they're in that, kind of maybe a limbo. I think she's just kind of been taking care of her daughter's kind of mental stuff that she's dealing with about her dad and school and all of that. She's a teenager, and we know that's hard anyway. And so then I had another client that she was great. I talked to her on the phone for a bit, and then she got back to me and she's like, I really think you would be a good fit for our house. I really, really liked your personality, which I appreciate when people say that, because it's just who I am. And I appreciate that they feel comfortable around me, because I really try to make it comfortable. Because it is vulnerable, and it is something that you go into somebody's house and you're going through their drawers and it's like, okay. And I see things, I see personal things. It doesn't faze me, whatever. But we were standing downstairs when I met up with her. So I talked to her on the phone, and then I came back like a week or two later, and, we're standing in the kitchen, and she's like, there's just all these areas in the house that need help. And I said, well, what's the one that's so bad? And she's like, well, the kitchen. And I'm like, your kitchen really isn't that bad. I'm sure that hidden, it's fine, but to your naked eye, it's not that bad. She's like, let's go up and do the master bedroom closet, because it's, her husband and her share the closet. It's pretty large. And it was pretty, I don't know, unorganized. I guess there was shit everywhere. And she hadn't got rid of stuff in a while. She also has 4 kids, fairly young. The last one is maybe 9 months old. So she knows she's not having any more. So there's that good time where before you would hang on to stuff because you knew you were going to have another kid. And, chances are it would happen to be a boy every time. So she was very lucky on that. Those kids were lucky getting the 4th hand-me-down round. But anyways, and she just stood there for a hot second, and she cried for a minute. And she's like, sometimes it's just overwhelming. And I'm like, oh, I know it is. I get overwhelmed. I don't get overwhelmed with this stuff, but I do understand what it feels like when you get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed when a lot of people, at my baby shower, there was a lot of people there. I don't know exactly how many, but I would say over 60 people, all women, and everybody was so excited to give you your presents. And I was so thankful that people were there and wanted to celebrate Charlotte, going to be making a presence in the world. But I will tell you, when I was done opening the presents, I kind of thought I was going to open the presents on my own privately, but they all want to see you open the presents, I guess. I'm not used to that. I come from a very small family. So having 60 people all just staring at you and smiling and just so happy. But there was a moment where I just burst into tears for a minute, because I was like, wow, this is really overwhelming. Like, I appreciate you guys are here. I'm not crying out of sadness. It was just like a moment. So I get it. It happens. And it happened then. And it was out of love. I wasn't sad that people were there. I was just like, wow, I can't believe people flew in and all this for a baby shower. And I felt the emotion. She just happened to have it in the middle of her closet. She's like, it's just overwhelming. They both work and they have a little bit of help, but it's a lot. And it's okay. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. Not everything is perfect. We want it to look great, but the reality is that we want to know that we have spaces for stuff. That's the hard part is once I leave, I can't, control where you put it, but at least there is a space for that pile of crap that, just happens to resonate on the dining room table, but at least you know that. And that's something that I just try to do. So for people, I tell you these stories about clients because I want you to know that you're not alone when you walk through your house and you're just like, fucking shit. There's shit everywhere. And I have to constantly make a list. And on that list is organize something, whatever that looks like, papers or whatever. And then last week I was back in Arizona, helping that client of mine. And she's amazing. She's like such a good soul. And all my clients are. I'm so lucky. I have such great people that really appreciate, but she really appreciates it. And I appreciate her. She's just a cool woman. She's just cool and really sweet. And anyways, we went through some stuff and she's like, oh my God, like she got divorced like 8 years ago and had this storage unit. They basically, when they were going to get divorced, she just put all the stuff from the house in the storage unit. And then 7 years has passed. And she just bought new stuff or had stuff or whatever the situation is. And I said to her when I talked to her on the phone the very first time, like 4 or 5 months ago, I'm like, oh, you're paying for a storage unit? Because that's something that I feel, I know people sometimes need it, but it's just one of those monthly bills that I just don't like. You're paying for another room to hold shit that you don't see. And the chances are, if you really look at it, it probably would be 2 or 3 boxes of stuff that's very important to you. Let's bring that in your house and not pay $500 to $700 a month for this storage unit, right? And so that's kind of how my brain thinks, like, oh my God, I know that there are some cases where you just have to have a storage unit. I get it. But sometimes you're like, man, am I really just I'm paying for a place just to, hold shit that I don't even think I want anymore. And most of it she didn't want. And we really tackled that. She had some helpers come and move out furniture that she did want to keep. And she's going to downsize to a smaller storage for right now until she figures out what she's doing with that furniture. Because some of it's like family furniture and stuff, like grandparents. And some of it's, back then it was all the furniture was great. It's like, it's really crappy now, but you see some of this furniture from like, the 50s and stuff. It's made like, you could probably have a truck sit on it. It doesn't even break. Now you sneeze by a particle board dresser and it falls apart. So I helped her and she's just like, you have a gift, you have a gift of doing this. And I'm like, I don't see it that way. But she's like, but you do. Not everybody has the mindset to do this. I literally go into someone's house. I touch every single thing. And, and I joke with people, like I opened up her closet. She lives in Arizona, in Tucson, which I feel is a little hotter than the rest of Arizona, or at least when I was there. It was like 12 degrees hotter. Now, it's still in Satan's lair, but I don't know what area. Like to me, Phoenix sounds like Satan's lair, but I don't know. Tucson was pretty warm when I was there last week, and it was pretty toasty. And I open up her closet, like her hall closet, and she has like 40 jackets. And I'm not talking like little nothings. I'm talking like Russian furry. Like one was like this big furry Russian kind of looking jacket. She had like 6 trench coats. She has it. And I'm like, when's the last time you wore a jacket here, period? And she's like, well, it does get a little chilly. I'm like, yeah, but your main closet in your bedroom has the light jackets. These were like the jackets. And she started laughing. She's like, I guess you're right. And I was like, no, if you wear them and they're special to you, or you bought them during a special time and they mean a lot to you, or they're very expensive, or whatever the situation is, please keep them. But nobody needs that many jackets when you live in actual Satan's lair. Like you're in the armpit of heat. So it was so hot. Like we were melting. And it was freaking March. Imagine August, July, August, you want to just burst into flames. I remember when I worked for Under Armour, I traveled every week. And one of the weeks I had to go to Arizona. I had to go to 2 stores in Arizona. They were putting in Under Armour shops in the sporting goods stores, and I had to go and kind of facilitate that. And I got in the car and I went to put my seatbelt on, and I literally got an actual burn on my arm, my shoulder, putting the seatbelt on, like a burn where it bubbled over within like 10 minutes, the size of like a silver dollar or maybe a little smaller. And then by the next day, it was all scabbed and like gross and disgusting. And I'm talking like it felt like I put a frying pan on my arm. And I'm like, then I started thinking about firemen are so amazing because they go into the fire. And here I am bitching about a seatbelt burn, and they're going into the fire. Then I went down that rabbit hole for a while about, God, I'm so ridiculous, with this burn, which killed. And it scabbed, and it actually left like a faint little scar. I wasn't even there like 2 hours. I'm like, this trip is done. I'm done with this trip. But I just remember burning my shoulder on the seatbelt. And I'm like, how do people do this? Because, I rented a car, had leather seats. So I'm standing up in the car because you can't put your butt on the seat because it's 4,000 degrees. And you're turning the air on. It's hot air blowing on you. And I'm like, I couldn't do it. I know everyone goes to Arizona because it's affordable. But I mean, I would have to be there only 7 months of the year if I was going to do it. And then the summer, no thank you, because it's hot. It's like burn your arm putting your seatbelt on hot without even like trying. I wasn't even in the sun. I was like in the sun, but I was like by a tree or a bush. It wasn't even like the sun was resting on it, and it was that hot. So anyways, I digress because I just love every story leads to a different story, and every thought leads to 50 other thoughts because I do have a story for everything. It's probably why I love talking to you guys and sharing my stories and just, seeing if you can relate. I love to hear feedback on that. I want to mention too is, so going back to one more moment of going back to, the organizing and just the dealing with your emotions and your feelings and all of these things. Some people truly cannot afford to have somebody come into the house and do that. And I get that. That's why I try to give you guys like little tips and stuff, or ask questions or whatever you need to do. A lot of people think, oh, I can just do this in my spare time or whatever. And you may be able to. And some people have. They've called me for help and then realized, you know what, I just bit the bullet and did it myself. And that's fine. Of course, that's fine. But just know that you're not alone. When you feel overwhelmed, when you feel anxious, where you don't know where to start, you're not alone. And sometimes some easy little Band-Aids, if you will, that will make your life a little easier is, and I've mentioned this before, I know you can go to the Container Store. I love the Container Store, but Home Goods, Marshalls, I say TJ Maxx just because they're all the same company, but Home Goods and Marshalls has a great selection of like bins and stuff for bathrooms and pantries or kitchens. That's what tends to be the headache, right? We have a lot of bathroom products. We have a lot of, you could get baskets for your closets, stuff that's a quick fix. Spend $100 and get, drawer inserts for your bathroom or your drawers in your kitchen. Get a couple baskets in your closet for maybe like stuff you don't really use, but you can, like scarves or winter accessories or that kind of shit that you can kind of put up on a shelf or wherever. And that makes a huge difference. Even if you don't have the mindset to go through everything and fold it beautifully like I do, but don't beat yourself up. The world is brutal. The world is hard for us sometimes, and it will come together. Would I love to help? Absolutely, I would love to help. But giving you like little tips and tricks and stuff that's just very, just scaled down. Sometimes when you have to deal with spatial things, you might need a little bit of help, but just drawer inserts, a couple baskets underneath your sink, just put a couple baskets in there and drawer inserts and just, clean up the stuff that you don't use. We love beauty stuff and just kind of clean it out and thin it out. You'll be in good shape. So, don't beat yourself up. Things happen. I think a lot of times it's just always on a to-do list. It's always there. And it's like, let's, save up some money if you can get an extra set of hands, even for 5 to 8 hours, and if it's not me, which I would love it to be me, it's someone else that can just kind of get you started. And then maybe you take it from there. I've had situations like that where they're like, I see what you did and I'm going to try to do this. Please do, because, I get it. It's expensive and extra money. If you don't have a lot of disposable income, it is a little bit of a, luxury, I guess, if you will. But those are little tricks and stuff that I find really make a big difference. You open up a drawer and you can see what's there and it's not just jumbled. You can't even, half the time you can't even open the drawers, make it so you can. And you can do that with or without me, but I promise you, you'll be able to take a couple deeper breaths. And I love sharing those stories. Organizing I can talk about for years. I enjoy doing it. I do it without even thinking. I go to Target, I buy shampoo and conditioner. If I go to grab it and it's not organized really quick, I will make it organized so the next person doesn't have to look for the conditioner that matches the shampoo. So with that being said, if you have questions, suggestions, thoughts, like what is the biggest organizational struggle for you? What is a room that makes you pissed off? And, give me your feedback. Let me know what works for you, because I know when I walk into Charlotte's playroom, I kind of die inside a little bit. And she really doesn't play with a lot of stuff, so she doesn't have that much stuff. But when a friend comes over, man, it's a bomb, because she still plays with Barbies and slime. Fucking slime. Anyways, with all of that being said, thank you so much for listening. I look forward to talking to you next time. And how do you know when a new episode drops? Like, subscribe, follow, tell a friend. All the cool kids are doing it. And I'll talk to you next time. Thank you. That's a wrap on today's episode of Unpacking with Jennifer. I hope you're walking away with a little inspiration and a few practical tips to make life at home just a little bit easier. If you love the episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new one. And if you found it helpful, I'd love if you left a quick review. It helps more moms like us find the show. This episode was engineered by Robert Altschuler. Music by Coldfire. Recorded and mixed at Command Recording Studios.